Hello, everybody. Welcome, Rosie Psychic Investigator. So here I am back from Rio, where we work. That's where I am today. Rio, we work. That's where I am today. All right, so very nice day, very sunny day. I am going to add the video I made. I think I'm on, you know what? Am I going to be able to send it? I hope so. Because I have this Android phone for here and I don't know how to transfer. It's not as easy to transfer the videos. But anyway, here I am. And we're going to talk about today, we're going to talk about the whole ICE situation and people involved in it and the aftermath of it. Okay, so I'd like to ask for protection, a beautiful ray of light coming on top of my head as I breathe in. I fill my lungs as I breathe out. I create a circle. I step into it. I feel protected. I feel connected. I'd like to ask that information come only from the highest sources, that it create the good, the good, and so it is. All right. So let's get started. Now, we know that the head of the DHS that control ICE is Noem, and we know that Stephen Miller is obviously very involved in this. And I saw it, I think it was yesterday also, that um, has been asked to kind of tone things down, not because they care, right? But because it's affecting some, it's like, it's not, the messaging is not working for them, right? And that they're afraid of backlash because they are great people. Let's just say they're wonderful men. So now I want to know what's going to happen to them. I also want to know what's going to be of this, right? What's going to be of these people, okay, involved in this. All right, so let's get started. So let's do this. So the first, let me show you, as you know, I like to look at articles while I talk for some reason. All right, so Trump holds 2-hour meeting with Noem amid backlash to Minneapolis shooting. The meeting is a sign that the president is concerned about the fallout from the killing of Alex Brady, who was shot by immigration agents. President Trump met Monday evening in the Oval Office with Kristen Noem, the Homeland Security Secretary, and Corey Lewandowski, her top aide, for nearly 2 hours, and as his administration tries to shift its strategy after federal agents killed a second Minneapolis resident over the weekend, according to 2 people briefed on the meeting. Now, here we see another piece of news following. What is the headline here? Okay, Stephen Miller left out of key White House meeting with Kristen Noem. That's the meeting that was just discussed. Noem, here it is. Following backlash to the murder of nurse Alex Brady in Minneapolis, President Trump held a 2-hour meeting. That's what I just talked about. Noem reportedly requested the meeting, the New York Times reports, and it took place, right? So, so what I want to know here is what's going to happen? Like, what will it do? What will the backlash do to these people? Okay, so let me just ask. So what will the obvious backlash? It's bothering Trump. And what will it do? It's funny, it shows me an image of Trump and them, and as if it's a photograph, and it has, the rips when it's like a breakup. So why? And it looks like to me like a photograph from the past. That's the moment where they break up. Okay, now what does that mean, Christine? Well, I see that he's there and she's looking at her and he notices she's done a lot of surgeries. and Lewandowski is there with her. You guys know that they have a thing. They have some sort of relationship. It's not just that he works for her, but that they have some kind of like pretty open affair. He's talking to her about how much money she spent with some private airplanes, and he's really pissed off that she's making him look bad. And okay, and she's upset because again, like nobody really cares about like reality of what's happened. Everything is about perception. So they care about the fact that they look bad to their own audience, right? So she's defending herself, and Trump is sort of yelling at her this whole time. Okay, and so Lewandowski is worried because I see he's thinking, well, I have all these investments. I'm supposed to get all this money. And I see him thinking, well, we've cut some deals with friends of ours, like meaning there's companies that are getting contracts and they're getting kickbacks from these companies. And if they lose these jobs, the kickbacks are not going to come. So that's his concern here, financial. Okay. And that's what they're doing. And I see that she and Lewandowski are discussing what is it when you call like when you're like, oh, we're saving for our retirement, that's our retirement money. So that's what they think about. That's what they're worried about because they're getting, again, all this money, millions of dollars from the contracts they have awarded to their friends. And Trump is like, you're not grateful enough for me, well, everything I've done for you, blah, blah. Okay. So now, okay. Now, okay. So what is going to actually happen? Like, what is going to happen to her long term? I mean, first of all, is she going to leave her job soon? Like soon, meaning let's say in the next 6 months, or she's going to stay. She and Lewandowski, I mean. Yeah, it showed me again this image of Rick paper. They're like breaking up. That's what I'm seeing. She's gonna have to find. I think Trump may have offered to her something else in the administration, but she may not want it. She's just like, what? I can't believe it. I can't believe it. And he thinks that she's taking advantage of the situation, like she's gotten too much money or something. I mean, I think he knows, and all the people that pretty much work with him are corrupt like that. But when a situation goes wrong, like he decides to make it a problem. Does it make sense? So corruption is that's another way where corruption is useful to Trump because if a person does something wrong, then then suddenly they like decides to look into it. Okay, so it shows me how much she's essentially been. I feel like she's been told that she kind of has to go. Is she? I don't feel like she's fired, but it's like he's not happy with her. Okay. Like fired meaning like she doesn't have to go tomorrow, but they're like Trump is preparing to put somebody else in her place, essentially. I don't know that he knows exactly who, but because he doesn't make sense, he needs to blame somebody else because it went wrong. Okay. All right. So this says her, and actually, you know what? Let me look. Let's look into her in like 2 years because it's to me, it's always helpful to look farther down the line because or even 5 years because it tells us a lot. I think sometimes if you want to know something that is like so close, I just feel like it gives a broader. So let's see. Today is January of 2026. What about January 2028? Where is she going to be, Christy Noem? Oh, she's crying. And it's like she's in some garden, like digging. And she's looking at her hands and it's like, oh, but I think she may even be married. I think she might be still married to somebody, but I see that she's looking at her rings and she's like, oh, but we were engaged. And it just went, I can't believe it. And I see that he may have left, like I think Lewandowski has left her for somebody else. And she's like, I can't be in politics anymore. And my attorneys are not returning my calls. So okay, I asked, is she in the Trump administration? And the answer is no. And I get this message saying the Trump administration will not exist by then. So that's interesting. Yeah, I see. Almost like she's also not, she does not have money anymore. I don't know. She seems to have stolen a lot of money, but things have not gone right. I'd say she's a crazy spender. So the corrupt money, which is, of course, it says, of course, it's part of the corruption. It's like when you get this, like all this money very quickly that you haven't really worked for. Some people overspend because it's worthless to them in a way. It doesn't make sense. So, okay. And there's these lawsuits against her. A lot of them I see. Okay. All right. So now let's go to Stephen Miller. Okay, let's go to Stephen Miller. Okay, so now let's look at Stephen Miller. Let's go back to that article. Okay, see this one, Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller left out. Okay, so out of key White House meeting Bristol Noem. Let's see. The meeting is assigned to the criticism of the administration over its actions in Minneapolis, beginning to get to Trump. ICE is under the purview of Noem as head of DHS, and she has been the face of mass deportations as well as the violence committed by federal agents. Noem called Freddie a domestic terrorist over the weekend, although Levitt tried to walk that statement back on Monday. Miller called it Freddie a would-be assassin following his killing, and Levitt also refused to defend Miller's comments. Meanwhile, Border Patrol Commander Gregory Bovino has been ordered to leave Minneapolis and return to his old job in California, and DHS has suspended his social media accounts. Is Miller also going to be sidelined along with Noem? So that's a great question. Okay, so it's what's going to happen to Stephen Miller as a result of this? Is he also going to be sidelined? Is a question, right? Is he, what's happening with Stephen Miller? Okay, the thing I'm seeing, guys, it's so gross, it's so creepy and weird that I'm just like, wow, I can't believe. So I have to tell you what I see. So I see Stephen Miller practicing in front of the mirror, the HITLER salute, right? The salute of the Germany, whatever leader during the Second World War, right? Lifting the arm a certain way. Now he's practicing now. I mean, by the way, Stephen Miller is Jewish, so is his wife, right? Okay. But still he's doing that. He's practicing in the mirror to see like he looks like that. Oh, and I see that it shows me a picture of Goebbels. Now, everybody knows that they look kind of similar. And I've read several books that there are rumors that Goebbels may have been half Jewish or something like that. In the NHZI Germany, they were very strict about being Aryan or whatever they called it. And if you had a parent or somebody or cousin, whatever it is, like that was Jewish, then that meant you were Jewish or whatever. And that was a bad thing. That meant could mean death, right? So anyway, so having said that, then the Goebbels, like he does not, I mean, it's objectively, you can say that he did not exactly look Aryan, right? But he was one of the, I mean, I don't know how you can compare them. They're all absolutely awful in different ways, right? But there he was. Now, Stephen Miller, similarly, I see him thinking, well, but Goebbels also was a bit like him. He's thinking of himself. But it kind of like, oh, if you only adapt the ideology strong enough, it won't matter. It won't matter. He's thinking. So he's thinking this why? Because he's upset at what happened in Minneapolis. Not because of what happened, not because of how people are reacting, but because he's like, but they're not supposed to kill white people. That's the problem. In Germany, when they did what they did, they were not killing Aryan people. Actually, they were in different ways, right? But the big spectacle in the media was never about going after Aryans. It was about going after the Jewish people, right? So that's what he's upset about. The spectacle is becoming about us going after white people. It's not supposed to be like that. We're supposed to be the saviors of the white race. We're the saviors of the white race. So that's what he's upset about in front of the mirror. Now that's just showing me how he is now. Now, let's go to what is going to be the follow-up for him for this. because I saw that in his mind, he just wants everybody to be afraid of him. And okay, I have a question. The thing I don't quite understand it, to be honest. I mean, I think I get it, but it seems so dumb to go after Minnesota. Why are they going, it's just so weird to me. Oh, I looked into it today yesterday. There's a lot of groups, the white supremacist groups in the area. But I'm just like, it's just so weird to me. Like, why are so no, he said that it's an area where there's a George Floyd history. There is it's a smaller stage, and they feel like they can have, it's like if they were to go to New York, there's a lot more people there, and there's like a different, like they feel like they wouldn't be able to do quite as much as what they're doing. So anyway, so Miss Stephen Miller thought he was going to go to Minneapolis, and that would just make a spectacle. That would scare everybody, right? And so honestly, there was something cinematic about their obsession here. It's like they would make these movies or these videos or whatever, and people will just obey us. Yeah, but it's not working that way. In fact, people are angered, and I see that they're like, wait, but we had information that the groups are going to join us, that they were going to be on our side, and that and so anyway, so this is that now. So what happens to Stephen Miller? It's saying the comment about the man who was a nurse, and he's some sort of, like, everybody knows, and it just is not sticking at all. So okay, so then what happens? See that he's like playing some squash or something. What the hell? He's sort of isolated, but why? Oh, then I see Susie Wiles being like telling Trump that this is not working. The way you're doing things, it's not working. You've made a lot of unnecessary enemies, including remember the Republican candidate? Apparently he's no longer going to run for office because of this, at least as a Republican. So what is going to happen? Because I see Stephen Miller, like, really, the other day I had this vision I talked to you guys about, where he was in the White House and there was these helicopters coming to get him in the White House. Like, he has to be removed as Trump is removed. So is he, no, is he staying? He's staying with Trump. No, he might be removed from direct, like, ownership of that project, kind of, for a while. Because I see that even though, of course, Noem is the head of the area, Stephen Miller who was the one who was kind of giving the orders and working in the background to make all of the worst stuff happen. So he's kind of, I don't say that he's exactly removed, but they're kind of removed from his portfolio, at least for it. And it's said, I get that it's at first it's temporary, okay? So then, yeah, I just feel like he's so loyal to Trump, and Trump knows that he's going to stay with Trump until the very end. And he does not like he doesn't like Vance, and Vance doesn't like him. And he kind of knows that if Vance goes, if comes, he goes, because they want him out. Okay, so, all right. So I guess the answer here is that it's been determined that it's going to stay with Trump until the end of this administration. Now, let's look 2 years down the line, January of 2028. Where's Stephen Miller? What is he doing? Wow, it's an interesting image. I see him, without bald, like he's balding, and he's wearing these shorts, like prison kind of. It's like, have you seen in the movies, like when you have the mobsters in jail and they're wearing these shorts and like the plastic shoes, and he's sitting on like concrete, and he has these like almost like wife beater-ish shirt and then the shorts, and he's there, and then it shows me a different image of his wife, Katie Miller, with kids. I think they have several children at this point, and she's scrambling to take care, like they're hungry, and they're like, she has to cook for all of them, and she's like, damn it, Stephen, I don't have any money, the kids are hungry, what am I gonna do? Did you do, Stephen? And it's like, and I see that he's calling her from some sort of like correctional facility, and she does not have much. And she's like, but the judge let me out unconditionally, and da da da. And then I see that the families don't want to take care of the kids unless they have a custody. So it's complicated for him. Okay. So yeah, and I see like it's so, I wonder, guys, I saw before. I wonder, okay, maybe because it looks warm, and I'm like, is it Guantanamo? Could he go to Guantanamo? Is Steve Miller gonna go to Guantanamo? Saying could be, because I see it's like a beach kind of place. And he has a limited time to call. So, but I also get the weird impression, I know it sounds like really strange, like he's detained in a place, but it's not like his trial has happened yet. And he's not allowed to leave the country because it's considered to be a dangerous person. So interesting. Yeah, interesting. So that's interesting. Okay, now the next question, completely different question. So now we'll get the picture of them, right? But let me just also ask this question about what happens to ICE. Okay, because really, I think the name has it's so contaminated at this point that there has to be everything has to be taken down related to this agency. There has to be something else after it because it's terrible as it is. Okay, so what happens to ICE? See again, the first, remember I was talking about Trump and I had this image, and the image was this vision of like this picture of Trump and Noem and the ripped paper. It looks similar to me in the sense that that's right. It's like it's a thing of the past. So I think they're gonna have to like it's not gonna exist anymore. But let's see. Let me try to look forward to see when that would tell us maybe something. I know when is it's very hard to rely on this, but let's see. So what happens, guys, when? Or January 2026. So February, March, September. And then I see Kamala. So it tells me as soon as, not as soon as, but with the administration going down, whenever that is, it is going to go. The next person that comes, person will not, they will quickly remove this agency. Because, and I see that they're going to have to, are they going to arrest all this? They're going to investigate. There's going to be a lot of stories about those. We're finally going to learn who these people are. And I see a lot of them have long criminal histories. Wow, you know what I see too? That wow, that's so gross. They got people from prison who were in prison to join ICE, even like famous, like I guess in these movements, those Aryan whatever things, to join ICE because they wanted to have this violent force that people would be scared of. And it's saying first it starts with immigrants, and then the idea is that to go after people, these thugs, because this is what happened, guys, in Germany, Second World War, when Hitler actually won, right? I think he won the election. Then he took over power illegally, and there would be these thugs that would attack people violently in public places, and they were part of like this just police, right? So that's the story, okay? Interesting. Wow. Yeah. So, okay. And then the last question that came to me here is about the people who have killed the two most famous victims of ICE in Minneapolis, Renee Good and Alex Purdy. So, what's going to happen to them? We haven't identified who the other person is, by the way, right? I think his name is Jonathan Ross, the first one, I believe. But let's see what is going to happen to him, and then the yet unknown. But I think soon we're going to know. Yeah, see, it shows me bars, jail. And he's saying he's committed other crimes in the past. Oh, didn't he shoot? That's right. I remember reading that he shot somebody, or somebody, he went after somebody and then they shot him or something. But there's more. There's more. It's saying while his DNA is in like some crimes that are unsolved and that were connected to crimes. So then this new person, yeah, it seems like a somewhat older person. Yes, also. But I see that all of them have like this criminal, like domestic violence connection and all that. So very awful people. Yeah, and I see somebody receiving I see this guy receiving a message. And it's funny because the screen looks like WhatsApp. So, and most Americans are use WhatsApp. So like he's receiving this thing where it's like, oh, if you kill somebody, like not saying in the exact ways, but he's been told to push further, that he would get some sort of like a reward for it. That's like there's a special uh system or bonus system for that. Okay. So it's saying, and it shows me that his defense is going to argue for that he was just following orders. I don't know, I'm just following orders because of that. And I'm talking, this person I'm talking about here is the one that killed Alex. It's gonna come out. And it says this one may have been a police officer in the past, and it's saying here he may have been pushed out because of disciplinary issues. So he has like, oh, I had a background that they were looking for. And so, oh, you remember how a lot of the George saying here, George Floyd issues, there was this corrupt police force, right? Police station even. So this guy may be related to that somehow. Interesting. So, okay, all right. So this is it for now, guys. Okay, so there's so much to share. Okay, so thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.